episode 19 of season 2 of the Daily Intermission podcast. In studio, alongside Nathan Brown. Nate, how are we doing today?
I'm pretty good, man. It throws me off so much when you say my full name.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I always call you Nate. I know. I throw it in there sometimes. I mix it in. Keep you on your toes.
It does. It keeps me ready to rock. I'm doing pretty good though, dude. How are you feeling?
Listen, man, I'm good, man. It's been a crazy few days just in the world.
Yeah.
But some positive things moving in the right direction where we're from here in Nova Scotia.
Yep.
Announced that they'll be lifting all COVID restrictions March 21st, Nate. So it's a celebration. It's a win. It's a testament to, our perseverance through the last 2 years. I mean, we can't thank all the healthcare workers enough, and just kind of everyone for fighting through these last 2 years. I know, worldwide it's been just such a crazy scene, and we're happy to kind of put it in the rear view and move forward. But pregame show today, we'll talk a little bit of what's going on in the sports world. Nate, we'll try to stay out of the political science of things. But quarter one, we got NHL today. Quarter two, NBA. Halftime shows, one that we don't bring out that often, Nate, but it's certainly a fun one.
It's a heater. What athlete are you bringing?
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time we did it, but
I know.
It's going to be a good one today.
For sure.
So,
and then we'll move into quarter three, little PJ Tour. Quarter four, we'll talk a little NCAA with March Madness around the corner, Nate. We'll talk a little bit about the MLB season, which obviously, some heated arguments going on and some tension there between the players and the owners. We're hoping that things get figured out here in the next few weeks. But Nate, starting off pregame show, the Olympics has concluded in Beijing, China. One that's probably going to go in the books is a little underwhelming.
Oh, no doubt about it, man. It was, as we talked about it before, the time change was obviously a real, that kind of ruined it for me. But, just all around, it just didn't seem that great with COVID. It was a lot of stuff. Also, the Winter Olympics just isn't the same for me without hockey. So it made it a lot of, I don't know. I just wasn't, I didn't get into it this year, which is a shame because I usually am all over it.
For sure. I'm going to come out and say this, and I don't know if it's going to be offside or not, but I think the Winter Olympics it's kind of a glorified ski and hockey tournament.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like a ski hill hockey tournament, and then you throw in just some random stuff, and then we call it the Winter Olympics, and then there's some variations. There's the speed skating and the luge and whatnot.
You know what's funny? I actually did catch some of the biathlon after we were kind of making fun of it. And you know what I didn't put into perspective that would be so difficult about the biathlon?
They grind.
Oh, they grind. First off, half the track is uphill. Oh. You're skiing uphill at some points on cross country skis, which is outrageous. But this didn't even cross my mind when I thought about how you just you go get your rifle and stuff. But you're absolutely humming to that thing. Your breathing is so off when you're there. Yeah. You have to just dial in and shoot that gun. I didn't even consider that part.
Yeah, no.
Played too much Call of Duty thinking it's just tap right trigger,
we've all run out of breath. We've all run out of breath on the sniper on Call of Duty, and
exactly.
It's tough to aim.
That's
the closest
do it in real life.
It's the closest perspective I have.
Hopefully, ever have.
Yeah. You never know. Going. Yeah, exactly. Any highlights in? For me, obviously the Canadian women's winning gold. That I'll take that as certainly the most prideful thing that happened throughout the 2-3 weeks that were going on in Beijing. Yeah. But there were some other great events. Obviously seeing Liam, a friend of the show, compete at the Olympics was exciting. Shaun White, his final snowboarding, half pipe competition. That's certainly one to remember. And a guy freezing his dick during competition. Yeah. That's.
The only things that really stood out to me that'll really go down that I'm going to remember forever is one, the Canadian women's team won.
Yep.
And two, a man froze his genitals.
Yes.
So, it's not, this is unheard of stuff. I'm not sure anyone's frozen their genitals ever.
I don't think I've ever heard of it in competition. And
no.
I still struggle to wrap my head around how that went down.
I heard that he ended up falling and then his stuff kind of came loose and some snow got in there.
Oh.
And he was kind of in a rush to
get her going again.
And kind of just left the snow hanging around. And next thing you know, we had frozen genitalia.
Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. Yeah. That's okay. I'm
still not sure what that whole blur thing was when I was watching
that's
live,
right.
But that's besides the point. Maybe he just didn't end up getting the fly up.
Yeah.
So I reckon. So you got to give props to the crew at the Olympics. That was a quick work on the blur.
On the fly
blur.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
No, it's yeah, like you said, Nate. It just is a little underwhelming, with COVID. The time change for us in North America, and everything going on in the world. But we'll look forward to Paris 2024, little Summer Olympics, and yeah, it just seems like two kind of came back to back at us, which they did, and but yeah, Nate. I don't know if you saw this clip with this guy in minor hockey. So, I mean, he runs into the linesman. I think he's like breaking out of his zone, runs into the lineman, and then starts having an absolute freak out.
Yeah. So he tried to, obviously, I feel like a lot of people have seen it. He tried to hit the guy. He kind of brushed him off, and he kind of went into the ref, and then I don't know if he was frustrated or what. I mean, the score was 0-0 in the first. There couldn't have been too much going on, Yeah. It's not like they were getting run out off the table, but yeah, he kind of took that shove at the linesman. I thought the thing, too, was I was watching, and when he shoved at the linesman went absolutely I'm also a part-time bouncer. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's just going nuts. It's dude, just chill a bit. What did he, and anyway, then he ended up punching him directly in the face.
Yeah. Which I don't think you can do.
No, no, you can't.
So if you haven't seen the clip, like Nate said, there's a minor league hockey player. I don't know what level of hockey was. They're wearing cages. So
I looked up what it was because I was trying to. It's the United States Premier Hockey League, and I believe it's Tier 3, junior. This is a 20-year-old guy.
So this is Junior C or something.
Well, I was kind of thinking maybe Junior B.
Okay.
Because the third tier, maybe I would think Major Junior. But I mean, either way, it's Junior B or Junior C. More than likely Junior C.
Yeah, so, I mean, really not heading anywhere with his hockey career. I mean, maybe a little D3 action in the States, or who knows? I don't know. We're not here to speculate where he was headed to. But
now he's going directly to prison.
You think?
No, but I mean, he probably anywhere else hockey. You do, if it's not on the ice, say you went up to a store associate that was running the store and punched them in the face, he's going to jail.
It's like you were shoplifting and they come out to kick you out and then bang.
Exactly, you're going to jail.
Yeah, it was such an odd scene.
You're banned for life.
Yeah, I think that's the play. It's dude, you just can't play. You just can't do that.
I mean, it's pretty much over for him anyway. It's 20. It's you clearly got some rage issues here.
What a way to go, Nate. But moving into the gymnast scene and the NFL DB scene, our girl Simone Biles was proposed to last week by Jonathan Owens of the Houston Texans, and they've come out and said this week, Nate. I don't really know how to take this news, but they said they were looking to build a football team with the children.
Yeah. I mean,
I crunched the numbers on this.
I did as well.
Did you get to 40 years?
I had somewhere around 67. I was even accounting for the bench players.
Okay. So I did a 53-man roster.
Okay. So we'll go with 53. So 40 years. I mean, pending some non-John and Kate plus 8 stuff. I mean, that's a baby a year for 40 straight years.
Yeah.
Right. So
it's really after 9 months, boom again. Every 9 months for 40 years.
No healing time
to get the 53-man roster they're looking for. I mean, what do you think the world record of children being born is, or what's the biggest family ever to?
I don't know, but I got to look it up.
One of my favorite movies growing up was Cheaper by the Dozen. I don't know why that came to mind, but that's it. I mean, that's an all-time flick.
I always think of those shows on TLC where they just John and Kate plus 8.
I mean, mentally,
God, Kate was mean.
I mean, the families, the parents of those children. I mean, I can't even imagine. I mean, 1, 2, 3. I mean, 4 is okay, we're pushing it. 5 is okay, let's. But I think 5 plus is holy smokes.
Yeah, well, you're not going to like the world record then.
Bring it up here.
Okay, the greatest officially recorded number of children born to one mother is 69. The wife of
makes a lot of sense, to be honest. It's a suiting number of children to have. She loved intercourse.
Yeah, apparently. I don't know how you get that many. 27 confinements. She gave birth to 16 pairs of twins, 7 sets of triplets, and 4 sets of quadruplets.
Holy smokes!
So I guess Simone and Jonathan, it's possible. Off the table here.
No, it's possible. But just kind of finishing off the pregame show, we got Matthew Stafford. I don't know if you saw at the parade. Matthew Stafford's on stage. They're kind of doing their microphone scene, and there's a photographer, and she ends up falling off the stage, and Matt Stafford is kind of losing it. He's laughing. He kind of turns around. He's like, I'm not dealing with this. And his wife kind of flies over. She fractures her spine while falling off. So anyway, the Stafford family has come out and said they'll cover all medical costs regarding to the fall of the photographer. But it's a tough scene for Maddie. I mean, you have to kind of, feel for Matty Stafford. He was probably absolutely tuned, and then this girl goes flying off the stage. You're like, whoa.
That would be the toughest thing about just being on camera 24/7. Like, you know what I mean? You couldn't even react authentically most of your life.
Yeah.
He's like, you're going to be out. Even if he goes out, say he's having a few drinks with like some of his buddies, like someone's going to have a camera on him at some point.
Yeah, no question.
So, I mean, you're not going to be able to get away with everything. So,
but anyway, the Stafford family is as generous as they are. They decided that they're going to pick up all the medical costs for the photographer. So we're happy with that. And Matt Stafford, obviously, celebrating his Super Bowl win. Nate, moving into quarter one, episode 19, season 2. The Daily Intermission podcast. We're talking National Hockey League, Nate. And we're going to bring up a guy here. He's played for both of our favorite teams. Was the captain of my team for a long time. Zdeno Chara. Zdeno Chara is going to be, I didn't realize this, but he's going to be the record holder for games played as a defenseman in the National Hockey League.
Yeah, he's not even that far off like the full-time record, eh? What is his, do you know right off the top of your head?
1651.
Okay, I thought it was in the 16s.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's only, what is the record? It's 17-something, right?
Okay, could be, yeah.
I mean, he's not...
that's outrageous.
Yeah, it's crazy.
What a warrior.
Yeah, oh, man. I mean...
So we look at him.
He's not going to lose any time from a fight, that's for sure, because he's folded everybody he's fought.
We look at a guy like Chara, Nate, and I know he played on Washington last year, and I mean, 15 years for Boston, that could be inaccurate, but cup-winning team in Boston. But do you think a team might target Chara as a guy to bring in? I mean, use him as a 6th, maybe 7th defenseman, depth guy. You go down with injury, you can put him in the lineup. Obviously, has tremendous leadership. The Islanders aren't doing anything this year. Is that a guy that you'd target come deadline time? Like, for me, there might be a little bit of attraction there. Like, I was kind of at the point where I'm like, man, this guy is dying off. But like now I'm like, I miss him.
For sure. I mean, I even having him on my team last year, I mean, in that exact role, like say somebody gets injured, he comes in. I don't know about having him on the starting lineup coming to playoffs. It's going to be tough. But, I mean, you always have that kind of like that little factor of Chara on your back end. And it's like, oh, smokes. We got 6'9", 250 back there. Absolutely, like, giraffing his way around the ice.
Exactly. It was so hard to create the cycle on him too. Like,
oh my goodness, dude. His stick is outrageously long.
Yeah, and I guess that kind of previews too what we got coming up, Nate. I was looking for a 150 flex stick in one of our upcoming segments and couldn't run it down. But that guy, man, yeah, I think some teams will be looking for him, and obviously, hats off to Zdeno Chara for 1,651 games.
That's crazy.
In the National Hockey League. Nate, the Toronto Maple Leafs are on a bit of a skid right now. They lost 3 of their last 3 games. One was an OT to Columbus, but guy John Tavares hasn't scored in 10 games. They got a guy like Jake Mawson who's had 2 concussions back to back. They've put him on the long-term injury reserve. Looking at the Leafs, Nate, and I was watching the game against Montreal. Nick Suzuki came flying in. The team right now is playing with a little bit of jam is Montreal, but he absolutely wallpapered Justin Hall, and not really much went on. And like, to me,
it's the same old story, man.
To me, the Leafs, like, they're so skillful. They've got unbelievable top end talent. Their defensive depth for me needs to be addressed. Their goaltenders right now, they're starting to be like Jack Campbell's kind of come back to earth.
Yeah,
they got Peter Mrazek, who hasn't really shown much. He hasn't really got an opportunity to show what he's got.
Well, when he pops in, he kind of gets lit up
for sure.
I mean, remember when we were watching on live stream the other night? We were watching the Vancouver one. He let in 2 in like 5 minutes.
That's right. So, but it's gonna be interesting, man. Like, you can't do it with one line. And like, if you're Kyle Dubas and Brendan Shanahan, like, what do you like Muzzin being on the long term injured reserve? I mean, you might be able. I would probably hold him out till playoffs. I would try to bring in that $5.8 million player. Obviously you can't do that, but with head issues, I think you could probably hold him out.
Yeah, for sure. I don't even think it'd be a terrible idea for that point. I mean, there's not that much season remaining.
No.
You have about 2 months left, and then say he's good to go in a month. It's like, all right, well, we'll get you skating, maybe get you in for like a game. But, if you can hold him till playoffs. I saw a lot of chatter, too, that Philip Forsberg, Nashville's shopping him right now.
Yeah, I saw that, too.
So I think that would be a really interesting play for Toronto.
What's his cap hit?
I believe it's like 6. I don't think it's crazy, but I'm assuming they're shopping him because they don't believe he's going to re-sign there.
Okay, yeah.
Would be or else, I mean, you're not going to let him go, right?
No, so. I could see Philip Forsberg trying to go meet up somewhere, maybe a real reunion in Washington.
I mean, yeah, they probably wouldn't be able to re-sign him past the year, but I'd love to see that. I mean, I feel like if he goes to Toronto, though, it doesn't really help them. It's not like. And it's just kind of another guy.
If I'm Toronto, I'm looking on the defensive side of things.
Yeah.
Like, I look at Montreal's run last year. I mean, you got to be able to tie things up. in the back end. And, you know, obviously Kerfoot's not ideal to have on your second line for Toronto, but
take a stab at Chychrun.
Chychrun would be phenomenal, man. I don't think his cap hits too outrageous, like 4.7, I think.
Yeah, it's not crazy.
For like one of the best young defensemen in the NHL.
If you can hold Muzzin out and then get them both back in, I mean,
now you're looking a little bit better.
Yeah.
But it's another guy. He's a left-handed defenseman.
I know. I was just thinking that they don't have a right-handed guy. Like, what do you do? Justin Hall running the power play?
Oh, man. Anyway, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, you know, it's certainly a curveball for the front office in Toronto. They're on a bit of a skid. Hopefully Jack Campbell can kind of, you know, get things back on the track, get things back on the rails. But no, Montreal is a team in you know, obviously they've been on a bit of a heater. They've won 3 in a row. Marty St. Louis seems to be connecting well in the room there. I think they got to, you know, it's like, you know, people are kind of celebrating there, Montreal.
Yeah, they're celebrating a little bit. I think Marty St. Louis like almost solidified his job.
Oh, for sure.
For a little bit, you know. I mean, this is the most this team's like Cole Caulfield, for instance.
Yes, there's life.
I mean, this guy scored 6 in his last, I don't know, 8 games maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's completely accurate, but whenever they played Washington last, he scored again. That was his second of the year. So now I'm starting to sweat on my $20 or not my $20, but my 20 goal bet on him.
For sure.
I mean, he's creeping up there.
Yeah, we'll see. I like that line, man. I'm a big fan of Josh Anderson.
Yeah.
I love Josh Anderson, and I mean, he's playing with Suzuki and Caulfield. Like you said, Nate, yeah, he kind of had a bit of a resurgence. Obviously, Marty's connected with the players, and I mean, I don't have any connection to any NHL dressing room. I just know walking in the dressing room, if I had Dominic Ducharme or Marty St. Louis coaching, I'd be a little bit more fired up to play for Marty.
Well, for sure.
You know, and that might be a little outrageous to say, but I mean, this guy's got so much history in the NHL and you know, did it as a small guy when they oftentimes did make it in that league. So Nate, Montreal also brought in Vinny Lecavalier to help out in the management side of things, and they brought in the Hamburglar.
Yeah, I know. That was wild to see. I remember showing you. I was like, you're not going to believe who's starting for Montreal tonight. It's the Hamburglar. It's like, holy smokes, bet the other squad.
So Andrew Hammond, I mean, is this story told enough? Like, he went on such a Cinderella story with Ottawa, man.
It was outrageous. I believe it was 2015.
Yep.
Yeah, they went absolutely AWOL, dude. They went like, I want to say like 21-3-2 down the stretch to make the playoffs or something outrageous. Yeah.
Man,
and he was absolutely lights.
I was listening to Jeff Merrick the other day, host on Sportsnet, and he's on the podcast with Elliot Friedman on 32 Thoughts. But Jeff was telling a story about Andrew Hammond when he was in Ottawa, and I guess one warm-up, he went out there and was just letting in muffins. Hammond. It was like his 5th or 6th straight start. Like, they needed him. Like, they had no one else. Everyone was injured. Yeah. And so, like, the players came in afterwards when we're talking to the coach. We're like, man, like, I don't think he can go. Like, he's looking, like, awful out there. And, and I guess he went out there and lights out, shutout, like, was just dialed. And
what?
And yeah, they were throwing burgers on the ice.
I remember that. Curtis Lazar ate one, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That brings up a good point, Nate. So if there was ever something thrown on the arena or the playing surface, would you take a chomp or like drink something that was thrown on the ice?
I can't imagine. You don't know what kind of warlock threw that down.
Yeah, like
the other thing is too. Back then, I would have been like, you never know, like in the spirit of it. But now, it's like after COVID, there's no shot.
I know,
especially a drink. You know, if the burger comes down in the wrapper, sure, but like if you throw me a drink, like
it's got to be an unopened can.
Well, exactly. Yeah. Like I'm gonna need a freshness seal.
I'm a sketch
to
bag
even consider.
I'm a guy that would be like, if I was drinking and started to feel something, I was like, was there Molly in that drink? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. No, I'm the same way. Like sometimes I'll buy a drink from the store and I'll forget. Like, you know, when you just like don't even think about stuff. Sometimes I'll forget if I took off like the fresh seal. I'm like, did I take off the fresh seal? I'm like, I'm not drinking this. You know what I mean? And I could have very well easily done it. I just can't find it. And I'm like, well, I can't drink that now. I'm gonna perish. Ever since I heard about the
sorry about that, folks.
That's all good. I'll just hold this off and then just chop it or something.
Yeah.
Because I can't remember what were we talking about. Oh, the freshness seal or something.
Just a sec. Sorry. I'm just gonna text Taylor.
Yep.
Okay, what were we talking about? Hamburglar and talking about drinks.
Well, yeah. So we were just on the point of freshness seals. Actually, we got a little off topic there, but I remember just hearing about the Tylenol killer.
Okay,
you ever heard about that one?
No.
That's not on the series you've been watching.
Holy smokes.
Dude, this was before like freshness seals were a thing.
Yeah.
And he was going in there and tampering with like bottles of Tylenol and stuff and putting like I believe like arsenic or cyanide or something in there, and he was killing people right off the shelves, and no one could. You know, people were just buying their stuff and had no idea. And then for a lot of the beginning of it, no one knew what was going on. everyone was just dying of this. Like, I can't remember. I'll have to look it up after the show, but
That's insane.
yeah, it's nuts. And that was before, you know what I mean? Because you wouldn't even think, it's like, who's going to go in and tamper with stuff? But man, people are evil.
That's dark. But Nate, we're gonna play a quick run through of overrated, underrated here in the NHL.
Okay.
Because the way this was kind of that come to light was we were talking the other day. We were watching the Winnipeg Jets play. Who was Winnipeg playing that night, Nate?
I believe Edmonton.
Yes, you are correct.
Yeah.
It was Edmonton.
Yeah.
It was a Saturday kind of evening game, and we were watching Connor Hellebuck, and Connor Hellebuck gets a lot of love as a trophy winner, and this might throw a lot of people off. But Nate and I were like, is this guy a tad overrated?
Yeah.
Anyway, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think he is a little overrated.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just, every time you hear about him, it's like, I've seen a lot of like top 10s or top 5s, and it's like Hellebuck's like 2 or 1. You know what I mean? I've seen people put him above Vasilevsky.
Yeah, which is outrageous.
There's nobody above Vasilevsky for me, and it's not, I don't even think it's really close.
Yeah.
How good I think Vasilevsky is, but I've also been set on the guy. I'm a little bit of a bias just because I've loved him for so long, but I think he's a tad bit overrated.
Yeah, he's faced the most shots in the NHL this season, but like you said, Nate, I mean, like when it comes to goaltending, and obviously he's a Vezina Trophy winner. Like he's had some great seasons, but like if we're looking at the last couple, like you got to be able to steal games and bring your teams on runs and be the best player in your team. And I just don't know if that's the case. I'm speaking a little bit out of pocket here. I've only probably watched 5 Winnipeg Jets games this season.
I was gonna say, I feel like I throw on a fair few. It's not. I never really noticed anything about him stealing the show. You know what
exactly.
I mean?
Like absolutely standing on his head.
Yeah, and I always see some odd goals going on him too. He kind of gives me like that Holtby vibe where it's like he can get hot, but he can also kind of just let in some muffs.
For sure.
But yeah, I'm just saying a little tiny bit overrated.
I'm gonna say a little overrated as well, man.
Just a small bit.
Aaron Ekblad.
I think he's underrated.
I think he's underrated as well.
Very underrated.
That's where I threw his name in there. Not talked about enough, man.
No, not at all. I mean, I had him in fantasy last year. This dude was going to win the Norris. I swear. He had like 14 goals before he like broke his leg or something.
Yeah.
It's absolutely lights. I mean, he plays physical too. I believe like I don't like getting into like the defensive talks of stuff because I know there's like a lot of analytical people that would like break you down and be like, well, look at his wins above replacement and his Corsi Fenwick and blah blah. And I don't know. Just when I notice
expected goals against per shift.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I'm like,
it's like, all right, dude. Like, holy smokes. But when I see him play, I think I've seen him like make some solid defensive plays, and like that's about it for me.
Yeah, he's a good skater. He's a big guy.
He looks pretty good.
And obviously there was a huge shot to Florida's success last season when they lost him.
Yeah.
But
he rips pucks.
Yeah, I'm going to say the same thing, Nate. I think he's a little underrated. I don't think it's talked about. That might just be the fact that he's playing in Florida. A lot of those guys kind of fly under the radar.
For sure.
Connor Garland.
Oh, he's underrated.
He
does get talked about quite a bit more now that he's in Vancouver, though.
Yeah, for sure.
But I feel like he's still, just the way he plays, he's never going to be, you can't give him like superstar status.
No, for sure not.
But he's a solid player.
This is a guy that works. Like, what I like about Connor Garland is consistency. And a guy like Willie Nylander, for example, Nate, like, he's so streaky. Like, he'll be invisible for 15 games in a row, and then all of a sudden he'll start popping them again. This Connor Garland guy, every shift, he's out there absolutely weaseling in corners, working his bag off. He's so shifty, great on his edges. This Connor Garland guy, if you guys get a chance to watch a Vancouver Canucks game, watch this guy play. I like that brand of hockey that he's bringing to the table, Nate.
I go with slightly underrated.
John Tavares.
Oh, my Lord. I think he's my new most overrated player in the league. Used to be Johnny T. For years, I said Jonathan Taves, and it finally kind of came to fruition this year. I know he's had some, he had the health issues there last year and stuff, but yeah, Tavares, I mean, dude, you just look at the cap hit, it's $11 million. I mean, the guy can't, I'm not going to rip him completely to shreds here, but like, I remember going back and watching replays just to kind of like further my point.
Yeah.
Like, there was one year, I think when he scored the 41, there was like 36 of those goals were let's kind of like bang in off the line kind of thing. Like, he only physically shot in the net like 7 or 8 of them, which was crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
slow.
I'll say he. I just don't know how much love he's getting. It's surprising in the Toronto market. Like, you never really hear about John Tavares. Like he's never really a whipping boy. Like, the whipping boys are Justin Hall, Mitch Marner, Willie Nylander at times. The goaltending is like, it's rarely like, it's surprising to see a captain in the biggest Canadian market, that maybe the biggest hockey market, never is really the whipping boy. And he's like, dude, he makes 11 million plus.
Yeah, it's true. Well, I think he's pretty solid defensively too. He gets that little.
I'll say he's properly rated, Nate.
Okay, I still stick him with overrated.
All right, Nate, moving into the NBA, quarter 2. Episode 19 of season 2 of the Daily Intermission podcast. It was All-Star Weekend in the NBA. Obviously, we're hoping to have Skip Britton and Scoopy apologize on, but he was unable to make it on the podcast. We're hoping to have him on soon, but Steph Curry stole the show, Nate. 16 3-pointers in the All-Star game. Team LeBron ended up winning by 3 points, but that, I mean, he was shooting and running back. Like, that's maybe my favorite move.
I know.
It's unreal.
No, I absolutely love it too. It's got to be the cockiest, most like confident thing you can do in sports, I think.
For sure.
Besides maybe like hitting a home run and just standing at home plate for like 10 seconds.
It'd be like taking a 1-tee and directly right after taking it,
Just headed to the bench.
celebrating, celebrating like at center ice,
Jumping into the glass.
Oh man, it's what an incredible game that Steph Curry had. Obviously, he was named the MVP, but LeBron James won the game on a fadeaway. And dude, this guy still got it, man. I was excited for him to see him in Cleveland. LeBron James won the game, but I want to talk about LeBron for a minute here, Nate, because LeBron James said this week and during the media days at the All-Star game that he will finish off his career playing with Bronny James' son.
Yeah,
interesting comments for a guy that's in grade 11. Is really not fully on the NBA radar. I think right now he's projected to be a late round second pick. How do you feel about Bronny? You know, does it put a lot of unneeded pressure on him? Does that put pressure on NBA teams to grab him? And you know, what do you think? You know, entering the NBA in your first 3 seasons, having your dad play with you. What do you think of that?
Well, I think for sure it raises his stock, I should say, because I think, as you said about the draft there, I think most of the mock drafts I looked at, the highest I saw him ranked was 26th overall.
Okay.
So, you know, he's, and you know, I don't know, like he's not like a huge dude either.
No.
You know, he's pretty undersized. I know he's only in grade 11,
which
is crazy. I don't know. I could see him going a lot higher. I mean, if a team, we spoke about it, I believe in the last podcast, but if a team can lock in him and LeBron for essentially free, then why not stab the guy first?
Well, that's, Nate, like you said, I mean, it's definitely going to help his draft stock, and it's just going to be unfortunate if he's like not an NBA talent and is really going to be like a bench guy, and it's just like LeBron playing and then he's on the bench.
Yeah.
But I think
just like getting in like late minutes just to like, you know, and then.
Yeah, it's just, I think it just puts a ton of unneeded pressure on a guy like Bronny and you know, but like you said, like what if a team like Sacramento, for example, you know, they get the 2nd overall pick, Bronny's there, they know LeBron's going to be coming in, everyone's going to be tuning into those games because people want to watch that. Obviously, LeBron's still the biggest show in the NBA. Mm-hmm. I think he'll continue to be until the career's over. It's almost like a Tom Brady-esque situation in the NBA. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if I love him saying that. I don't know. I think, you know, obviously Bronny will be an NBA player now. I mean, it solidifies it. But I hope he's a talent, and I hope that it's not just his dad, you know, kind of paving the way for him to be an NBA player.
Yeah, no, that's a good point too. When you bring up like a Sacramento, like say like Portland gets like, you know, like a small market team, like say they end up with like 1st overall. It's like, well, we're taking Bronny.
Yeah,
it's like holy smokes.
I'm glad you brought up Portland, Nate. CJ McCollum, obviously a wily veteran in the league. I'm not sure how many times he's been in the All-Star game, but a few times. Great player. He's been kind of the Robin to Damian Lillard, Batman in Portland. Obviously, they've been, you know, a mid team in the West. Have been a playoff team for the last few years. And CJ McCollum gets traded to New Orleans. And JJ Redick has a podcast and absolutely ripped Zion Williamson a new one, because I guess there's a kind of an unwritten code, Nate, not only in the NBA but across sports. And if there's a player acquired, you text them, you give them a call, you say, welcome to the team.
Yeah.
I guess Zion still hasn't reached out to CJ McCollum. I mean, obviously he hasn't played yet this season. They're thinking about another surgery on his foot. I mean, it's just feeling so busty when it comes to Zion Williamson.
Oh my goodness.
But I mean, for a guy especially of CJ McCollum's status in the NBA, and for him to get traded to your team and for you not to reach out to him, it's just an awful look for you. And it's going to be funny. What happens if Zion Williamson demands out of New Orleans?
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, like, because he has the skill there. It's just like he hasn't played, so it's like, what do you get for a return if he did ask for out? It's gonna be a nightmare one, because it seems like, I don't know, from an outside perspective, I would say this guy's somewhat punched out. Would you?
Well, yeah, it's hard to say his investment level right now. I mean, you know, he's just sitting on the sideline. He's gaining weight, and yeah, he's unable to play right now. But Yeah, I don't really know. This whole situation is so wild. I mean, I think with Zion in and with Brandon Ingram, another great guy there, and I think they actually could have a decent team. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens moving forward with Zion Williamson. I just found it so odd that you didn't reach out. But JJ Redick, if you haven't checked out that clip, he absolutely shreds him a new one. This is a guy who just continues to be injured, and his availability has been very minimal in his first 3 seasons in the NBA. And
I do slightly kind of feel bad for the guy too. I mean, like, we also don't know like how bad this foot injury is. So it could be, it could be lingering, it could be tough, but I don't know. At the same, he's also just kind of a whipping boy from everything I've seen. He kind of gets ripped on for the weight quite a bit. I mean, like, he isn't playing, so it is going to be fairly tough. I mean, I guess you could still pop on the exercise bike though, if you're not, you know what I mean? Like, that's not going to hurt the old foot.
Yeah, there's ways to take care of yourself
for sure,
and to get prepared. And yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with Zion. Need DeMarcus Cousins. This is a guy, DeMarcus Cousins is a guy who I remember DFS in the 2015, 2016, 2017 era. He was my guy. I mean, this guy used to average like 26, 27 points per game. Like, this guy was such a monster for the Sacramento Kings. Even when he went over to Golden State, he was okay, but he has been an absolute suitcase for the last few seasons, and it looks like he just got picked up by Denver. So he's going to be backing up Jokic, and it's going to be interesting to see what this guy's bringing to the table. But, I mean, I don't know if I can remember. I mean, he tore his ACL. That was kind of the biggest, that was the big turning point in DeMarcus Cousins' career. But this guy, man, he was a top 10, top 20 player in the NBA, and now he's just fallen off the map since 2019.
Yeah, I'm pulling up his season by season just because I have a hard time keeping track of what years guys lose out on. But he lost 2019-20, so that would have been the bubble year with ACL, so he was out for the whole year. And then the following season, I mean, he only played 41 games across 2 different teams, Houston and the Clippers, and then obviously moved to Milwaukee and then Denver now. But yeah, he hasn't put together a whole lot, and that's coming off, as you said, when in your DFS time. Yeah, this guy was a all-star, monster. six years straight all-star.
Yeah, this guy was such a freak, and it's funny that he's still getting shots in the NBA, but he's a big guy, big presence, and hopefully that he can find some jam down in Denver.
Yeah.
Nate, I don't know if you saw Goran Dragic came out this week, and he said that he was he couldn't find I guess similar ground or stable ground in Toronto. They were disagreeing on a lot of things. Like, this guy was a complete clown since the Kyle Lowry trade. He came to Toronto, wouldn't play, and now he's off to Brooklyn. Like, it's just such a gong show with this guy. Like, I honestly don't wish this guy the best because he screwed around Toronto so much. And I'm a big believer that even if you don't want to be there, you got to play.
Yeah, 100%.
This is your profession.
You think of like Vladimir Tarasenko. It was like he was like, I don't trust the management anymore. I'm not, you know what I mean? I want out. But now he's still playing and giving it his all. But yeah, I mean, when he came into Toronto, it was kind of from the beginning. It's just been kind of a nightmare.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, if you're going to be a PR nightmare, I mean, Brooklyn's your pad.
Yeah.
So
no, I mean, he's a good player. He's had a lot of good years with the Miami Heat, and yeah, it just didn't work out for him in Toronto. But I'm happy that Toronto got him out of the system, and he found a home in Brooklyn, and we'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
Kyrie Irving came out and said this week that the Nets are going to be a different team from here moving forward. So be interesting to see what this team.
Does he can play at home now?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Is that yeah?
Apparently, it's coming up because they're scrapping the vaccine mandate in New York.
Okay.
So now he'll be eligible to play in home games.
Yeah, so that'll be big for them for sure. And we'll see if Ben Simmons, I know he's ramping up his conditioning stint, so it'll be interesting to see, how the Nets look in the weeks to come. And Nate, we don't oftentimes shout out guys on the podcast, but this guy definitely deserves a shout out. It's Lindell Wingington. I think he's from Dartmouth or somewheres in the HRM, and he's playing heavy minutes right now for the Milwaukee Bucks. So if you're from the Maritimes, from Atlantic Canada, this Lindell Wellington guy, he's playing. He's a backup guard for the Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, that's unbelievable. It's not oftentimes that you see guys from Milwaukee, or sorry, from rural Nova Scotia playing in the NBA.
Yeah, I'm just pulling up to see exactly where he's from. I thought it was from Dartmouth, but yeah, well, it's claimed as Halifax here. So
okay, yeah,
straight out of our home province.
Yeah, so
went to PA.
Yeah, Prince Andrew. Okay. Yeah, so if you're if you're watching NBA, go check this guy out. He's an electric guard. Love seeing Nova Scotia athletes in the leagues, especially outside of the NHL, where we continue to dominate.
It's a little more. Also, you love to see a good undrafted guy playing big minutes as well. It's a big testament to your character and
ever
how hard you go.
Ever since your guy DiVincenzo got traded, that opened the door for Wigginton. All right, Nate, we're moving into the halftime show, episode 19, season 2 of the Intermission podcast. So how this is going to work, so we're going to give each other hypothetical situations. During those situations, we have to bring a certain number of athletes. Could be 1, could be 5.
Could be upwards of 10.
Could be 30. Could be a full football team.
If you came out right now and was like, who's the first 30 dudes you're bringing? I'd be like, dude, like what?
Yeah.
You want to start it?
Yeah, I'll start things off.
Okay.
And we got to say which athletes we're bringing to these situations.
Yes.
So Nate, you get drafted into the war. And you're heading in and you've got a tank crew. So you and 4 others who are buzzing around in a tank.
Oh, man.
Which 4 guys are you bringing to join you in the tank?
First off, I ain't going.
Okay.
But if I were,
Yep.
I'm taking Aaron Donald.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take Ryan Reeves.
Okay.
I'm gonna take Brent Burns.
Okay.
That guy knows his way around guns.
Yeah, okay.
I got a ranch. And then I want to say I'm gonna take Derrick Henry.
Okay.
So I think those are the 4 I'm gonna go with.
Okay.
Because I think I'd feel pretty safe with those 4.
Yeah.
I think I would.
Okay.
I don't know. Do you have anyone that you would take differently or?
Yeah, like
Just
I'd
to
probably
put you on
bring.
the spot, I guess, but-
I'd bring, definitely bring like maybe Francis Ngannou, like the heavyweight champion in the UFC.
Okay,
like
yeah.
probably some UFC guys. Like those guys are like they're fearless.
UFC didn't even cross my head. That's a good.
Yeah, so
Habib wouldn't be terrible.
Habib would probably be a great pick. Yeah,
He'd be a really good ally.
yeah,
if you think about
yeah, he would for sure.
it. Okay. Well, here's your first one. You roll into a restaurant, Greg, and it's one of those food eating ones. You know what I mean? You're going for the record, and the record is like substantial. Like we're talking like $100,000.
Yep.
If you get it done, like there's been beasts who have come in there and they've set the record high. It is the food competition is bottomless mimosas, and you and one other person have to crush as many as you can. Who do you take?
Oh, it's good. It's a good question. Bottomless drinks. Okay, I'm going Bakhtiari, offensive lineman for Green Bay, and for one reason only. I mean, if you've watched Bucs games over the last few years, they'll pan the camera to him, and he absolutely slugs those things faster than.
And then they repan to
Exactly,
him, and
and does it again. Yeah, so Bakhtiari is
That's a
going to be
good
my
one.
guy.
I love that.
Offensive lineman for the Green Bay Packers. Nate, you're a fashion designer in Paris, France.
Yeah.
Some of your stuff's getting showcased on the world stage runway. All the fashionistas are there. Which 2 athletes, male and female, are you having model your stuff?
Okay, model my stuff. I go with recency, and I want to say like Austin Matthews. I think he could pull off a thing. But I'm thinking clout-wise, I'm going David Beckham for male.
Okay.
I think David Beckham's the play.
Yeah.
And for female, I think I might go I think Alex Morgan would have some pull.
Okay.
There's no one else that's really going like athletically wise to my head right now. Like I would go with like Hailey Bieber or something, But
Yeah.
I mean,
She's stunning, eh?
I don't know.
Holy
Oh my lord!
smokes.
Yeah, you see her wedding dress?
No.
Divine.
Oh,
She's got the full arms on it. Beautiful, beautiful dress.
Yeah.
I've been watching, folks, a lot of wedding shows, and I got to tell you, folks, my head is in the gutter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like those.
Yeah, I'll
Alex
go with
Morgan,
Alex Morgan.
and David Beckham, 2 soccer players, 2 very attractive human beings.
All right, so this one is also a one and done for your guy. You got one other person to pick, but you roll into an underground fight club, Greg, and this is tag team. So it's like when you're not feeling it, you know how a tag team works. I'm not going to explain a tag team to you.
Yeah. So when I get knocked out, who's coming in?
Yeah, pretty much. So, but
What happens if you get knocked out and can't tag the guy in?
I think they just slap your hand, you lay in the ring. I haven't watched much WWE, but I got to figure that's what they would pull, something with a metal chair as well. So who are you taking in there? I mean, this could.
There's only one right answer here.
Yeah.
It's Jorge Masvidal. If you haven't seen Jorge Masvidal fight, he used to fight in the Kimbo Slice circuit, backyard Miami, bare fists. This guy, dude, is one of the toughest guys in the UFC. He's fighting March 5th against Colby Covington. I'm super fired up for that fight. But Jorge Masvidal, man, is my guy. I'm going in tag team. I'm getting knocked out, but I think he'll be able to knock a couple guys out for the boys.
Well, you don't know if you're getting knocked out for sure, because if you're getting into this, who's the
who are the other two?
What if it's me against me bringing in somebody?
Yeah,
You know, like there's
true.
a good chance you knock me out.
For sure. But yeah,
You think you could knock me out? No. You just start swinging. Okay, yeah, I like that. That's a good pick.
all right, Nate. Your final one here.
Yeah.
You're in the Dodgeball World Championships.
Yeah. All right.
Dodgeball.
Yeah.
Interesting skill set here.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want too big of guys because they're big targets. You want guys with swifty, good hands.
I just want to know how many.
You need 3 guys to join you. 4-on-4 World Championship Dodgeball.
4-on-4. Okay, I am taking Garrett Cole,
Okay.
Randy Johnson, and who is Bo Jackson?
Okay.
Yeah, did you see that video going around of Bo Jackson absolutely gunning that guy from the outfield?
No.
Dude, he threw the ball from the outfield, got it to first base. The guy was halfway on the retag back to first.
It's not talked about enough, man. I wish we had dual sport athletes. Like Bo Jackson, one of the best running backs of all time,
Right.
and played in the MLB with an absolute cannon.
Dude, I got to show you this clip after.
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
absolutely asinine, but those are my 3 for sure. I feel like that's the only real play.
Yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
well, I guess I could have gone like Tom Brady. Yeah, geez.
I'm not going quarterbacks.
No?
I'm going shortstops. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going like Bo Bichette,
Bo Bichette, maybe a little Correa.
Carlos Correa,
Yeah.
Trevor Story.
I was going to say Trevor Story.
Is he?
He's shortstop, yeah.
We're just bringing up some free agents now. Come to Boston.
Yeah.
Dustin Pedroia,
Yeah.
diving around.
Alex Rodriguez.
Okay, Nate. Well, is that gonna include? Do I have one more?
You do have one more.
Okay,
Yes.
one more here.
So, Greg, you're starting your own business.
Okay.
You got to pick one partner for it that's going to help you out. You know, more so on like the actual doing the job side of things.
Yeah.
And it's a dog walking company. Who are you taking?
Okay, a few things come to mind here. Do I want like a guy who can like get a lot of mileage in without getting tired, or do I get someone who has the mitts just to handle like 20 dogs? I'm gonna go with my guy Evan Dunphy, speed walking
Dunphy.
bronze medalist from the Summer Olympics, Canadian guy. I mean, this guy could pump out probably just the amount of dog walking, routes, and he could pump them out. I'm going Evan Dunphy.
He could. That's a good call. I mean, I don't know how you handle the dogs per se with those wiggly arms.
That's true.
But I mean, he's going to get the most quantity of dogs walked.
Yes,
For sure. So I like that.
I'm going to go Dunphy. So that'll conclude the halftime show, Nate.
All right.
Which athlete are you bringing? And we're going to move right into quarter 3, Nate. It's PGA Tour talk.
Yep.
They're at the Honda Classic this week. We have Matty Denzer, Director of Instruction, down from the PGA National there in Florida, chatting best bets. I'm just going to come out and say this. Matthew Wolff, it was +5 through 8 holes, and that's my one and done pick. So, folks, we're moving on to next week. Nate, who'd you have?
I took, it's not too late, actually. I'm going to pull up I had Sung Jae.
Yep.
And, we could scrap the whole thing right now. Like, I'm going to next week as well. He's 2 over through 13.
Okay.
It's, this guy's
it's not looking fantastic. But that guy, man, he might bring out something low. The cut line probably be right around even or something around there.
Yeah, that's right. It's not, it is. The leader, Katayama.
Yeah, Kurt Katayama.
Katayama, yeah, he's 6 under for the leader, but my other bets aren't looking. Koepka's looking okay so far for like the best bets we put out, and Neiman's even through 18. So hopefully Sung Jae can pull it out a little bit. I would hate to burn my one and done on this week with Sung Jae and then him. Just drag me through the mud.
Just a brief update here. Matthew Wolff, my one and done pick. I didn't give him out for a best bet. Thank you. I actually changed this morning. Not sure why.
Never do that.
But Matthew Wolff is now +8 through 12 holes. He might shoot 85 today.
Wow.
So for all those listening, that's not good. But yeah, my best bets, Nate.
That was your one and done?
That was my one and done.
Damn.
So we're moving on to next week. Okay. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's
whatever.
either
you're up there. You had a good run there the other week. You had Scheffler win.
Yeah. So. Anyway, this field too, like I just feel as if this week right now, not the strongest field in the world. It's the first of the Florida swing.
I don't hate the pick, honestly, because I know what you're saying.
He's just so volatile. I mean, he's a guy who could have been -5 after day one, but he's going to MC hammer. Nate, I did want to talk about Phil Mickelson for a minute here. Yeah. He's getting a lot of heat right now for his comments in an upcoming book about the Saudi Tour and how the PGA Tour, is kind of corrupt and there not a lot of changes need to be made to golf. And he said that the PGA Tour is greedy and anyway. I'm not going to quote Phil because I don't have it in front of me, but Rory McIlroy came out and just body bagged him.
Yeah, he did. What exactly did McIlroy have on there again?
Naive, selfish. childish.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of vocabulary used in there. It didn't paint Phil in a great picture. And anyway, Phil's stepping away. He lost his KPMG sponsorship, which he's had for like 15, 20 years.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's got to be one of the longest running ones.
So they dropped him. And I mean, like, this is like he was working on tarnishing his legacy. Like, Phil, dude, like, I think he's worth like $300 million. I mean, he's playing a sport right now that you can like. He's not like
51, right?
He's not like a running back in the NFL. Like, he's 51 and still playing golf as a career. He's been winning millions of dollars. I mean, it just seems so outrageous for a guy who I thought had a head on his shoulders. I mean, just unbelievably clownish comments and yeah, Phil's taking it, man, and he's gonna have to answer for it. If I were Phil too, Nate, I would suit up here soon, whether it's at the Arnold Palmer or the Players in 2 weeks, because that's not the media I want to be dealing with at Augusta.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. You want to get that over with like early and often.
Yeah,
but, it's a shame, man.
It is big time, man. And anyway, moving into, I guess, the Saudi tour and everything like that, I guess not moving out of it yet, but it doesn't seem like most people came out, Bryson DeChambeau, Dustin Johnson, everyone's not going.
Yeah, well, everyone it was kind of like a waterfall effect.
Yes.
Everybody kind of came out, and it seemed like before, like, Phil kind of came out with that stuff, it seemed like maybe they had no anticipation of going.
Yeah.
But it seemed like it was a little more under wraps, at least, and you weren't really too sure. But
I didn't buy it. I never bought it for 1 second.
I was starting to lean. I don't know, it's just like, Jesus, a lot of money.
Friend of the show, Richard, he was sold that the boys were leaving.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he had a list of 20 for the boys. So, Richard. No.
Richard, you're also banned from the Project Parlay, which
garbage pick.
Did we talk about that? We talked about that last weekend, yeah.
Did we?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, we get the Arnold Palmer Invitational next week at Bay Hill. That's a super fun event to be in. Arnold Palmer, obviously, passing a couple years back. That'll draw a great field. And then the Players Championship in 2 weeks at TPC Sawgrass. So it's ramping up, man. The Florida Swing's a lot of fun. We got Augusta just around the corner, so we'll be following the PGA Tour closely. I'm not sure what we're gonna do moving forward with our PGA picks, Nate. We've been tinkering. I don't know if we found the sweet spot yet with how to present those and how to get those out, but we'll continue to figure it out. But as we move closer to March, Nate, one thing comes to mind and one thing comes to mind only, and it's Q4, Nate, and we're talking a little bit of NCAA basketball. Now, I'm not the one, and I don't follow NCAA basketball until March. So now I've got to start scrambling around and looking around and saying, who am I taking? Because, okay,
it's nice to get it in early. Get a little bit of a brain rather than, you watch Selection Sunday, you have like 3 days, and you're just like, you're reading every single analyst, like, this team did this and this team did, and you get some ideas in your head. So you want to have those solid beforehand for sure. So I'm going in. I might do it like I might flip a coin for every match. Man, I've heard crazier stuff. I mean, there was one girl 1 year, she won like $100,000 or something, and she went off which jersey she liked better.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with it, seeds or anything.
When I look at seeds and I'm doing the bracket, it's so hard for me to pick an upset. Like, I'm so dialed into the number.
I know, and then there's a lot of times where you'll even look at like the 9 and the 8, and judging by which conference it could be, there's the odd time you see like a 9 seed that's like 21-9.
Yeah, and
you're like, okay, they're not looking too terrible, but like, I can't keep track of the conferences in the NCAA at the same time. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, I know Gonzaga, like Kentucky, Ohio State, like Florida. These teams are going to be, obviously, no matter what, they're going to be absolute juice. Duke,
Yes,
but when it comes to like when you're seeing like Seton Hall.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, where do they even, where is that? Remember, that's a segment we got to bring back in March too. Is like, where is this school? Remember we did that? That was good fun. We got to bring that back. Where's that school
located? Actually,
that could be a great segment on some other stuff.
That's the segment we are bringing in, Nate.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Well, that was terrific. I can't believe we won and done that.
Yeah.
It's going to be a year. It's going to be about a year since we ran it, but
that's a funny segment.
It is. It's hilarious.
Okay. Yeah. Because I mean, how many? Obviously, it's there's going to be a finite number of NCAA schools we'll be able to bring out, but I mean, there's going to be a ton. There's probably some Canadian schools too we could bring out.
100%. That would be interesting.
Okay, we're bringing that back.
We're bringing that back, and we're bringing it back tonight. No,
no, we will though in the next couple of days for sure. So follow along on TikTok. But Nate, is there anybody catching your eye? Like, Gonzaga is obviously the heavy favorite, betting favorite. I'm fading them.
Yeah,
I'm gonna not. You won last year. You picked Baylor, and that was a little bit off the board.
A little bit off the. Yeah, well, they were a 2.
Okay,
I believe. I usually try to stick around a 2.
Okay.
Because I know, especially like in those smaller little leagues, like we'll probably have about 100 people, I would say, in ours.
Yep.
In those ones, you get a lot of guys who try not to overthink it, right? And they go for the ones. But it's like at the same time, even if you're not overthinking it and get the ones, like if you hit on a 2, generally you're going to win it.
Yep, for sure.
So, I mean, I've won 2 of those things, man. I'm get pretty, like, I'll dial in for like a full day of research and just, you know, I obviously get lucky as hell. But
I think what we'll do is we'll go live and do our filling out our brackets there.
Yeah,
we'll do a bracket fill out live.
Yeah.
And we'll just get everyone in there.
Get the whiteboard in the back.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep,
so we'll do that. And yeah, Nate, I mean, it's going to be fun and just kind of check in with the MLB. Nothing, you know, has budged completely. You know, March 5th is they're planning on getting things going. Hopefully, things start to kind of sort itself out there in the MLB because I mean, we need the content.
For sure, it's going to be. I'm excited for it too. I mean, there's some of the free agent things. Some of the places you see some guys going. I mean, you got. I'm hearing Trevor Story. Like, there's potential. He's going to Boston.
Is that you're hearing that?
Sliding Bogarts to 2B because Story's not moving from shortstop.
I don't mind that at all.
I'm a big Trevor Story guy.
I don't mind that at all.
I got the fluorescent or the sparkly purple Rockies jersey with Story on the back. That thing is absolutely filth.
I'm thinking too, like, I mean, the Red Sox, they haven't been like as big as splashers. Then obviously they lost Mookie, and they haven't like been like absolutely going out there and splashing. But now with the you know the condition of the AL East with Tampa being such a wagon and Toronto being such a wagon and the Yankees being the Yankees, I mean, you got to start making some moves. So I really like that. I mean, there's some big names still out there, Nate.
Yeah.
I guess who's rumored to come to, or guess who they're creating rumors? Freddie Freeman to Toronto.
Oh yeah, well, that's absolutely vintage. You know, it's like that guy who's like stayed in one team forever, and it's kind of, you know what I mean, this good homegrown guy. But I heard he's more leaning towards, or the Dodgers are kind of pursuing.
Oh, that makes sense
for the Corey Seager. Like when Corey Seager moved, it's kind of a replacement. I don't think he's. And like, I'm not terrific with, I'm not going to go out here and say like, this guy's better than this guy, but like, I don't think he's as good as Corey Seager.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But then you got Anthony Rizzo still unsigned,
right.
Chris Bryant, Carlos Correa, Trevor Story, Brett Gardner, Kevin Pillar, Clayton Kershaw, Zach Greinke. I mean, there's still a lot of names left on the board.
Oh man,
you'd have to think maybe half of those guys would be in the AL East.
I mean, there's a good chance. I mean, how many of those guys are the Yankees going to pry?
Oh, I mean, they'll be chatting with most of them.
Story to the Yanks. Correa could easily go to the Yanks.
Who knows? Who knows? Nate, you got a fire wagon or dog water of the week? That'll conclude quarter 4. We'll move into the post game show. I don't have anybody prepared. I'm going to be completely honest.
Okay. Well, I might. I got mine, but maybe you just roll off mine. I'll do mine back to back here.
Sure.
Okay. So my dog water of the week is just the MLB and the MLBPA.
Okay.
You know, I'm not like completely understanding of what's going on. There's a lot of like little nitty gritty stuff, and I'm not completely sure. But I know for a fact that the offer the owners made to the players for the minimum salaries is an absolute travesty.
Yep.
But other than that, I mean, that whole thing for me is just dog water of the week. Also, the MLB came out and said, you know, the deadline's 5 days away. We're not going to reschedule games no matter what. So if we're locked out, we're locked out. Some of these guys are going to lose a ridiculous amount of money. I believe Garrett Cole's going to lose like $193,000 a day. So it's like, I mean, these guys are going to be wanting to move that down. But that's my dog water. And my fire wagon is Patrick Laine.
Oh,
guy's been on an absolute heat fest.
Absolutely.
This dude I have in one of my fantasy teams, I mean, he is just getting multi-goal games by the dozen. It's absolutely unbelievable. I love him. Hopefully that sparked some interest over on your end. And
I've got mine figured out.
It doesn't take long, folks.
My dog water of the week is Phil Mickelson for obvious reasons. You know, kind of dog or body bagging the PGA Tour and showing some allegiance to the Saudi League. So my dog water of the week is Phil Mickelson. And my fire wagon of the week is a guy by the name of Brad Marchand, back off a 6-game suspension tonight. Brad, welcome back.
Braddy boy pulled him in Hockey Ultimate Team last night. Pretty disappointing.
Oh. All right, folks. Well, we'll catch you guys in a few days. Thank you for tuning in. Go check out all of our social medias, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys listening.
Let's go.